Yo guys, Psalm here. I'm not seeing too much guides on like angles and crosshair placement and all that good stuff, which I think is really important to the fundamentals of a tactical FPS. So today I'm gonna be covering kind of how to play angles and how your movement going into an angle can really pretty much change how the enemy reacts to you. So let's get right into it. One of the first angles I want to talk about, we'll just have this short A example real quick. Let's say someone's holding from U-Haul with a rifle. Okay. Now, there's a few different ways people will swing. The most common one, because it's a tactical FPS, everyone's going to be walking around, is especially in the lower levels, people are going to be walk swinging. So they walk the whole way until they see you, they stop. Okay. Um, this is probably the most common, but also the easiest to kill. If this guy is holding you from the other perspective, he has the most time to react because you're moving so slowly. And I'll show you the other POV as well. Now here's the POV of the guy who's at U-Haul. Let's say he's holding short with a rifle. This is probably the average angle that he's going to be holding. Now if you walk swing into this, I'll show you exactly what happens. Boom. Super easy for this guy to react. Very slow moving target. Anyone who's paying attention with a decent reaction time, easy headshot. Now let me show you the difference between that and someone who takes that giant step. Look how far out he gets. Okay, that was me trying to react, and I fired the first two bullets thinking I could react in time. But now, since I've already fired those two bullets, now this guy has the advantage on me, because after the first two bullets, my accuracy goes down, my recoil goes up. Okay, so this guy now has the advantage in the fight. Another swing you can do, which is kind of like the main point of this video that I want to teach you guys, is while you want to maintain the silence of walking, you want to basically match the speed of like a full running wide swing. So like if I were to full run, I want to match the speed of running when I swing into an angle. Basically what you want to do is you walk up to the point, you pre-aim, and then you make one gigantic step, and you stop right as about your right before you make the audio cue. So what I like to do is I let go of shift, and then I hold, in this case, I'm going to move right. So I'm going to be holding my D key until right at the moment where I'm going to make a footstep, and I'll stop, and then I'll put my finger on shift again. So like this. And you'll notice that as opposed to walk swing, I'm going to get a much faster swing speed here. And the importance of this is it's much harder for the other guy to react when you're coming out at basically what's run speed as opposed to walking speed. And I'll show you the difference between these two in just a second. Basically, this is also really important for not only against rifles who are pretty much pre-aimed where your head level would be. A lot of people will have their crosshair pre-aimed like relatively tight. Because they're expecting people to come up pretty slowly, and it is accurate a lot of the times. So basically, if they're holding tight and you kind of come out wide with this giant step, it's going to mess their crosshair placement up, and you're actually going to have that advantage here. And I'll show you that as well. This is especially important when you're facing oppers. Let's say instead of a rifle, this guy's holding an operator. And he's going to be holding a pretty tight angle here, as most ops do. You don't tend to see operators holding like really wide angles, and you'll see here the big difference, I guess, in how this changes when a guy's opping, how he reacts basically to your swing. So like when you walk into an op, pretty much 90% chance that you're going to be dying here. Boom, you're dead. But if you do this, you have a much higher chance of living because he's holding a tight angle. He might try to react and shoot and just barely miss you. And he'll shoot here. Here's a POV of someone who's opping from U-Haul into short A, not rifling. He scopes in. He holds, this is probably the average angle that he's going to be holding. Pretty tight. Show you what happens when he walk swings into me. Boom, super easy kill. Because I'm zoomed in, it's, bigger the visual on my screen because of the zoom, it makes it easier to react as well. And if you notice, you could see the foot coming out very clearly, and just very easy to react overall. Slow moving target. Show you guys what happens when this guy wide swings instead. Boom. Much harder to react. If you notice, it's harder for me to see, you know, the slow motion foot coming out. And honestly, it makes it a lot harder for the opper to hit this shot. I'll show you another really common angle that people opt that I think this is actually super important. So if I expect, well, honestly, if someone has an op or enough money for an operator, I always expect every angle to be op just to be safe about it. So this is impaired. A lot of people will opt this hookah angle. So what I like to do, well, I'll show you the difference. Basically, a lot of people, most people will be walk swinging into this and try to kind of clear this. First of all, they'll walk into this angle, or they'll try to get crossed over. Okay, if you're walking at this speed, this opera is going to get you 100% of the time. Now, what I like to do is I'll take that gigantic step, you know. And a lot of times, this guy's going to miss you. He's going to shoot here, and then your body's already going to be passed. And you'll see this in just a sec. Here's a POV of someone who's opping from hookah. Very common op angle. I'll show you what happens when you try to, walk across. He's not going to peek directly into me. He's going to be trying to cross. He's going to be doing that walking. Super easy kill. Super easy kill. And here's when he takes that giant step across. Way harder to react. Way harder to react. Honestly, most oppers will never hit this shot. I do this all the time just to check if the opper is there, and he never hits this shot. This is also applicable when you're clearing like close corners. Let's say you're coming up short A and you suspect that someone might be in this cubby. Instead of just kind of walking into him, where honestly, from this angle, if you're walking, you will still have the advantage, the reaction time advantage over this guy. But if you want to make it even harder for this guy to kill you, you'll do the giant step swing that I'm talking about. You walk up to this wall, and you'll stop, and you do a wide right here. And it's much, much harder for him to react. Here's a point of view of the guy who's hiding in the short cubby. Let's say someone who's walking to clear him, and someone who's kind of taking that giant step to clear him. Now, the difference in this kind of angle might not be the biggest, but it does make a bit of a difference in terms of how fast I could react. Boom. There. I kind of, you notice, I can see his foot. It's coming out kind of slowly. There's a decent chance that I might be able to react in time and take this guy's head off. Now, if he runs to clear this, boom. The difference is not too much, but honestly, even like 10, 20 milliseconds difference, I mean, everything in who gets the first shot off here.